Now, the electron transport chain gives you the bulk of your ATP. Okay? I'm going to call it ETC for short, just to be simple. So what happens in this is your NADH, so the 10 NADHs that you have from your Krebs cycle and your 2 FAD2s, DH2s, that you also produced, they'll end up being oxidized and will produce more ATP. So this happens in what we call the 5th complex, or complex 5 of your ETC. Okay? So basically what happens is oxidative phosphorylation, which is another name for the complex 5, and what happens there, you have an enzyme called ATP synthase, or synthetase, And what it does is it takes ADP molecules and phosphate molecules and runs a proton gradient. So I have ATP synthetase, which has a channel in between, so I'll just quickly draw something that looks like the enzyme. And it runs a proton gradient through it, which is just H plus ions, okay? And it uses ADP molecules plus PI to give you your ATP. And these H plus ions are coming from your NADHs and your FADH2s, okay? When they're oxidized, they give off a proton and you're left with, in this case, you're left with NAD plus and FAD plus. Now, I said that this produces the bulk of your ATP. This is how. These 10 NADHs, each one on its own produces 3 ATPs times 10 NADHs that you have gives you 30 ATPs just from the NADHs being oxidized. The FADH2s, each one produces 2 ATPs times 2 FADHs that you have gives you 4 ATPs from those. So when you add these two, just from your ETC, you have 30 plus 4 gives you 34 ATPs. Okay? Plus the original 4 that you had made from glycolysis and your Krebs cycle. Gives you a total for cellular respiration of 38 ATPs. Now this is in ideal conditions. Your body will roughly make about 29 to 30 ATPs each time it goes through this process, but in ideal situations, it should be making about 38 ATPs. And all of this happens within the mitochondria of your body, of each cell. And that basically wraps it up for your ETC and cellular respiration. Subscribe to me so you guys can see some cool videos doing science and experiments and maybe learning something new. Thanks!